Welcome to the show. Here today to discuss about Smackdown for May 21st, 2021 review. I would say that this was an okay show. It wasn't great. It was kind of like Dynamite. There were some things that I didn't particularly care for. But overall, as a show, it wasn't all that bad. It was definitely well worth watching. It was watchable, if anything else. If you don't agree with everything I say, I understand. Everybody's got a difference of opinion. But it definitely was watchable, at least. Did it really do a whole lot? No, not really. But it was, a fun little Friday night episode that at least got some kind of interest, The Intercontinental Championship did a good job in the main event. Not a whole lot of explanation at the end of why Aleister Black chose to fucking black mass Big E in the fucking face. And the ending was just kind of a piss poor ending the way it ended, I would have to say, because the way Big E kind of stood there not knowing really what to do. He looked like he was completely confused. Apollo Crews had him by the leg, and Aleister Black was in the middle of the ring. He looked back at Apollo Crews, then he looked at Aleister Black. Aleister Black kicked him in the fucking face. So, I don't know. I thought it was kind of silly. Once again, Apollo Crews' title reign is becoming more and more weak. Him winning the championship was just as bad as the way he retained the title here tonight. So, I don't know. Really, I'm not all that intrigued by Apollo Crews, but the match itself, despite the ending, was fantastic. Now, Apollo Crews versus Aleister Black, definitely different. It is a different type of match that has not happened before. So it should be interesting how they go about doing this. Are they going to do it right? Probably not. My hopes with WWE is little to none. If I had any hope, I'd have to be the dumbest fucking retard walking on the planet Earth. But we all know I'm not that fucking stupid. May not be right about everything on this channel, but I'm not dumb. So the very first segment of the show was Sonya Deville in the middle of the ring, discussing about all the champions in the Smackdown division. She listed off Rey Mysterio and Dominic. They also mentioned Bianca Belair, which later is interrupted by Bayley. We also get the shout out to the Intercontinental Champion and the Women's Tag Team Champions. Apollo Crews was upset about the whole situation that is being placed in a fatal four-way match. I thought that is kind of true. He shouldn't have to be in a fatal four-way. If you want to do that, do it by elimination. At least the champion has to be pinned in order for there to be a new champion, or whatever title that's on the line. I think that is the appropriate way to go ahead and have a fatal four-way match, because it's four corners. That's a little unfair to the other two opponents that could not be part of that end result of the match. So I kind of think that this should have been by elimination, and leaving it down to Big E and Apollo Crews, and then eventually having Black come out, hit him with the black mass. We get a cliffhanger, basically, and hoping to get some kind of explanation to why Aleister Black chose, out of all these little segments he's had throughout the last 3 to 4 weeks, to why he chose Big E as his first victim in making his debut back to WWE television in the ring. So, should be interesting. He had a contact lens in his eye that made him look like fucking Kane with a gray pigment in his eye, which I thought was a little strange. I don't know why that was needed, but whatever. So, yeah, Apollo Crews was upset about that. Then she announces about Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns' old music hit, and out came Paul Heyman. I was a little confused. Why were they using the old Roman Reigns music back when he was with the Shield? Paul Heyman came out. He did his spiel. He mentioned that, a lot of the guys standing here, all the guys actually standing here, are title holders, not champions. The real champion of Smackdown is the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, which is absolutely correct. They're just part of the show and going along with the ride. That's all they really are. They're nothing more than a bunch of fucking stand-ins for those titles. Those titles are just props. They are not real championship belts. They're not treated as championship belts. They are treated as garbage. That's all it is. Bottom line. He takes shots at Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. He says, "Hey, Dominic, apparently you like living off of your dad's..." Oh, wait, that was Bailey. I apologize. My bad. Bailey actually makes these comments about Dominic and Rey Mysterio. So, yeah, Bailey later comes out after Bianca Belair is appointed as one of the women's champions in WWE SmackDown roster. And Bayley comes out, snatches the microphone from Sonya Deville. Surprisingly, they didn't come out with any music for her, which I thought was absolutely fucking amazing for once, instead of just having her show up with fucking music playing out of nowhere and her coming into the ring to snatch a fucking microphone out of Sonya Deville's hand. She just showed up and took the fucking microphone. It was very, very surprising. Nobody expected her to just show up out of fucking nowhere and steal the microphone out of her hand. She says, "Hey, I want my rematch, man. You stole that championship. If anything, you're a damn thief. You're a damn criminal." Whatever the hell she said, word for word, verbatim. And she wants a rematch. She also points out Dominic Mysterio is living off of the coattails of Rey Mysterio and how he probably would have never won a title without his old man, and his old man has overstayed his welcome here in the WWE. Would I agree with that? I don't know. I mean, he's still a good performer, but he doesn't bring any kind of great value to the company. I mean, he's not exactly being used in like a hierarchy in the company like he used to. Back in the day, I mean, you could put this guy in mid-card, the main event. He electrified people. He gave people a lot of interest in his matches. He was very entertaining. Now, it's just rinse and repeat. People are just so used to Rey Mysterio. There's nothing different about Rey at this point. He hasn't evolved into a different character, that people just don't care about Rey Mysterio anymore. He's just lost his momentum. He's played out his character long enough that there's not much more that people see in him. I think people are just happy to see him because he's with his son and doing something that he's never done before. He's actually sharing the spotlight with someone who's his own family member. I mean, the only time he's ever done that was back when Dominic was just a little kid. So, seeing him in a wrestling ring with his old man and them both being champions together as tag team champions is very nice. It's a heartwarming moment. Other than that, Rey Mysterio has not done anything exactly relevant in the WWE that really stands out to anybody. I think the tag team championship match they had last week was actually a really good match. I thought that was very good. But I mean, it's not, or not it was on Backlash. I apologize. I am so fucking tired, guys. I've had a long day. I've been up since 7 o'clock in the fucking morning. I've been working my ass off. I spent from 9 o'clock till almost 10:30, a little past 10:30, watching Smackdown, skipping through the commercials, thank God. And now I'm on here giving you guys this review. I also had to do laundry and all kinds of other fucking boring shit that just took a lot of my time, and I'm just so burnt. I apologize for, fucking up with what I'm saying here. But whatever the case may be, you guys get my point. Bianca Belair then responds to Bayley's comments. She walks down the ring and down the ramp and into the ring and says, "Okay, you want a match? You're not gonna take this title from me, blah blah blah." And then out of fucking nowhere, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler starts beating up Bianca Belair. Why this is taking place, I have no idea. I don't know why Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax have anything with Bianca Belair, but they decided to attack her anyway. This led to the tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina Snuka, to come down to the ring, and they attacked. And what do you think? You think they leave it alone and leave it at that like they used to do back in the day? No, they didn't do that. They came right back from commercial break with a fucking matchup. Rinse and repeat. Same formula bullshit that they always seem to do. Back in the day when you had a fucking, a promo speech segment and you had an attack, you just had a brutal attack and you ended at that. You didn't have to have a fucking tag team matchup or some other bullshit take place. I mean, yeah, maybe later on in the main event of the show, you'd see the guy who was attacked maybe challenge someone from that group that attacked him, or blah blah blah. You might even see a handicap match, a 2-on-3 handicap matchup, 4-on-5, something like that. Those matches were fun. You don't even see handicap matches where two guys are up against three heels, okay? You don't see any of that stuff. All you see is fucking rinse and repeat. Something happens in the middle of the ring during a promo segment, they do the attack, they do the segment with a six-man tag team match, or whoever's in the fucking attack during that segment, and they come back from commercial break with a match. Alright, so the match ends with Shayna Baszler winning with a rear naked choke, making Natalya tap out. That's basically what happens there. No big fucking deal. I mean, the match wasn't bad. I think in front of a crowd of people would be responding well to it. But let's get real, man. They're not hitting on anything that's important. That is the issue here. This is not, oh, let's shit all over WWE because it's fun. I really would like to come on here and actually say something positive. But apparently it doesn't seem to matter to Vince McMahon whether or not people are unhappy with this product. Just give us the type of shit that you used to do back in the day. You don't have to go full-fledged Attitude Era with this, but at least give us something that is well worth, biting your teeth into. My God, there's like nothing here that really gets you all excited. It's just, yeah, there's some good matches here and there, but does it really matter? Of course not. It's trash. And to be quite frank with you guys, I think Shayna Baszler's treated like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, he was a great wrestler when he came in. Seemed like he had a promising career coming out of NXT and maybe actually do something on the main roster. Had a couple of good matches with Seth Rollins. He looked very dominant. I honestly believe that we were going to see him succeed after a Brock Lesnar match for the Universal Championship at one point, and nothing seemed to click. He never got ahead. And the same thing I see with Shayna Baszler. I just see Shayna Baszler as Samoa Joe in a very... She knows a lot about MMA. She's very good at that. That's what she was good at. That's what she was doing before she came to WWE. And you don't make her as such as what she was in NXT. Everything they did with her in NXT worked. Why it wouldn't work here in the main roster makes no sense to me. You got an entire group of women that could benefit with a woman like her dominating the division like you got Roman Reigns, and yet you're not utilizing her gift, what she does that most women can't get over in the women's division in WWE. She's a dominant performer. She knows how to rip people apart, limb from limb. And yet you don't have this woman coming across as a dominant champion and doing something important in the women's division? Come on, man. You're doing it all wrong. I mean, that's like doing that shit to Ronda Rousey. They didn't do that. Ronda Rousey got over great. She was great. She made that women's division awesome. And Shayna Baszler, no, they ain't doing that with her. Because she ain't no mainstream attraction. That's the only reason why I see her as getting, bashed to hell and not treated like she should be, is because she's not looked like she doesn't have a mainstream name. Who gives a shit, man? How the hell are you supposed to make someone mainstream if you don't help them out by making a mainstream attraction? If you don't make them a mainstream attraction, who gives a fuck? Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to think that you give a shit. If I'm going to invest my time in someone that I like and I want to see succeed, but yet can never be able to succeed because they're not given that ability to do so, I'm going to start losing interest in them, because I'm going to just pretty much at that point see that I no matter what I do or say, it's not going to help benefit her in any way or see her be at a level that she deserves to be at. All it's going to do is make me feel like, what the fuck am I wasting my time for? They don't want to push her. What the hell am I going to do? There's nothing we can do as fans, okay? I mean, I totally agree that we should, vent our frustrations about things, but let's get real, guys. At the end of the day, it's their decision, and whatever their decision's going to be is what it's going to be. And if we like it, great. If we don't, oh well, they don't give a fuck. They're going to do what they want to do. That's why I posted a video, believe a couple of weeks ago, or at least 2 weeks ago, where I said the only ones that are really going to be able to make any change in this company is the wrestlers. The wrestlers need to stand up and go on strike. That's the only way we are going to see anything come out of this. The wrestlers going on strike, demanding creative decisions being made properly, and for these people to get over the right way, stop making them look like fucking idiots, making them, look like legit adults instead of acting like fucking children on national television. Give them legit storylines. Let them do their own fucking scripts. Let them swim or sink, That is the way wrestling used to be. That is the way AEW does it. Okay? That is the best way to get something out of someone. That's the only way you know they're going to work, is if you let them sink or swim. I have said this many times on this channel. I've been on here since 2015. Yes, I understand 149 subscribers is not a lot. That, to me, is a complete failure. Okay, I know I have failed with this channel, and I don't care. I continue to do this because I want to, and I'm not going to give up until I start seeing that this channel continues to grow. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'm going to continue to come on here and say what I'm going to say. And hopefully, I start to gain more subscribers. I would like people to tune into my videos. I think I have a brain for this shit. I'm not a moron, okay? And I don't think anybody has said I'm a moron, but I'm just saying, I am telling you guys, I know what I'm talking about. I'm just as good as anyone else out there on YouTube. I may be a fucking small platform, a small little dent in the YouTube community, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. And clearly, at the end of the day, guys, these people need to be treated with respect, and also on top of that, actually fucking be treated, allow them to have storylines that make them look like legit adults instead of coming across looking like fucking children. Because it's very disappointing to watch, and it's very heartbreaking, actually, if you're a fan of this shit. So, there you go. Anyway, moving on. All right, Caleb Braxton is backstage with Big E. He hypes tonight's main event and says this is what he asked for, a chance to show he is the best among the very best. He will stand in the ring with dogs tonight, and this will sharpen his iron. He goes on with the promo and says he leaves the arena tonight, and he will leave no doubt tonight that he is our rightful Intercontinental Champion, and you've got to feel that. Big E keeps getting hyped up to the end of the interview, and McAfee hypes tonight's main event as well. Cole talks about Roman Reigns' win over Cesaro at WrestleMania. Reigns will be here later on tonight, and then they go to commercial break. Okay. So the next thing that came up was Aleister Black. Now, Aleister Black had a vignette. He reads from the Tales from the Dark Father. Folks, this should be the tales to put me to sleep. Okay, the stories, a bedtime story with Aleister Black. That's really what these segments should be called. I know a couple of times that I've come on here to do the Smackdown reviews the last couple of weeks, and I have not reviewed or mentioned anything about that. And there's a good reason. Because there's nothing that he's going to do that's going to accomplish anything. We all know that Aleister Black has all the capability in the world to succeed as an in-ring performer. And yet he continues to be placed as a fucking afterthought. This guy is sitting there talking about stories out of a book called The Dark Tales, or The Tales of the Dark Father, whatever the fuck it's called. Tales from the Dark Father, okay? And he's talking about all this shit about people are sinful, they're lying with pain, they have no honesty, and they live within sin and are very cruel and evil groups of people in this world. And his attitude is he needs to rid of all of them. Sounds like a fucking Bray Wyatt type of promo to me from the Wyatt family. The only difference is he's telling it from a fucking book. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they ought to just put together Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. I mean, that would be a fucking good storyline to tell. Between the gimmicks that these two are giving off and everything, I think that would be great. But yeah, he's blabbering about meaningless bullshit that means nothing to me. And that's pretty much that. And it closes out with some sick, demented shit. A lot of stuff that I think Vince McMahon himself would actually say. Not something Aleister Black would say. It doesn't feel legit like Aleister Black. Aleister Black was a man of few words back when he was in NXT. The only thing he did was get in the ring, kick the guy's ass, and that's it, and won championships. He didn't talk. That was not his thing. Talking was not his thing. His whole thing was being mysterious, very quiet to himself, kind of like a Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis does not talk, does not speak, does not even cut a fucking promo. He draws to cut his promos. And I think that's fucking fantastic. But now they got him all wrapped up with Indy Hartwell on NXT, so that's killing his gimmick in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I mean, it's not a complete, shoot on Dexter Lumis's character, because he's not talking, thank God, at this point. They're still keeping that relevant for his character instead of making him sound so humanized that the whole gimmick just dies. But anyway, we then have Baron Corbin. He actually comes out without his crown. He's walking around crownless, showing off that fucking chrome dome skull of his. Not looking like Michael Jordan or anything with a shined up head, but yeah, you get my point. Anyway, they show a vignette, well, not really a vignette, but just a couple of pictures and images of Shinsuke Nakamura walking or, well, being in certain places with the crown. I think that fucking crown looks great on him. He used to wear a crown in New Japan Wrestling. I already mentioned this last week, and I'll mention it here today. He had a crown in New Japan Wrestling that was fucking bigger than the crown he wears now with Baron Corbin's crown. And I got to admit, I think it looks fucking badass on him. Really, I do. I don't know why, but that crown looks fucking cool on him. Baron Corbin, I mean, that crown is nice overall for his gimmick, but it just, him walking around continuously calling himself the King Corbin is getting kind of old. I mean, he's been King Corbin for what, 2 years now? Since 2019 when we still had fans in the fucking audience? I mean, come on, guys. That's ridiculous. So they had a rematch between Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. They did have a guy, I forgot his name. I think they already have this. I'm hoping they have it. Yeah, the guy's name is Rick Boogs, Boogz. His real spelling of his name is Bugez. And he's actually from NXT, but he knows how to play electric guitar, which was fucking cool. And he was actually playing it for Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. Whoa. And did he play a good fucking tune for Shinsuke Nakamura? It was exactly the same as his legit entrance music. It sounded fucking fantastic. Yeah, the distortion was a little too much. I think they could have gotten rid of some of that. It sounded a little too distorted. But at the end of the day, it was a fucking good riff he was playing, man. He was shredding the shit out of that guitar. And Pat McAfee, man, he was standing there with Michael Cole. I swear to you, I think those two guys are having a blast working together. You can just tell. When they had the camera on Pat McAfee playing air guitar with Michael Cole was looking down at the ground and just laughing his ass off. If I didn't know any better, I thought he was going to fall off his chair laughing because he thought it was probably so fucking funny. I did as well. I thought it was great. Pat McAfee, I mean, he, at first, when he went to NXT, I absolutely hated him because he was just I felt like they were just trying to go for that mainstream appeal. But this guy literally brings respect towards the product and towards the wrestling industry that you gotta have him. He's not somebody that disrespects the business. He's not a person looking for a quick buck because he already makes money doing what he does for a living. And now him being an announcer, I think is great. He plays a great role with Michael Cole. They feel like a Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross type of combo. I absolutely love it, and I think it's great that they have these two guys together. So that is probably the best commentary team going today. Would I say they're better than fucking AEW? Actually, I would. I don't get me wrong. I think AEW's commentary team with Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Excalibur, they're a good combo of commentators, but it just feels so natural, and it seems like they're just naturally having fun working together. That's what makes it entertaining to listen to these two guys talk. When they cut that fucking WrestleMania Backlash match between Roman Reigns and Cesaro, that was fucking good stuff. It was great. It was fun. I did not have any beef with it, and Pat McAfee just brings in so much life to the fucking show when he talks. And I think he rubs off on Michael Cole in a good way that he even comes across better than he has been in the last, 10, 15, 20 years. Shit. Michael Cole's been crap for a very long time. But anyway, Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura, They had a decent matchup despite the ending. I thought the ending really sucked. A lot of these matches weren't all that bad. It's just the ending sucked. The endings of these matches were not that great. He was distracted by fucking Rick Bogues, the guy who was playing the guitar, and he was playing a riff from Nakamura's theme briefly just to distract Baron Corbin, and then he gets a small package for a win. That is something I really hate. The small package shit, I am getting tired of seeing. Can we see something different, like a fucking finisher perform for an ending to a match, instead of these stupid, retarded endings with roll-up pins? It is so pathetic, really. Again, I know I said that this show was not bad, but these shows still need a lot of work. A lot of fucking work, man. Alright, so we have Jimmy Uso enter Sonya Deville's locker room and says that the Usos are ready to get back together and move forward as the best tag team of the century. They are ready to do it big, and they want the smoke. They want to go up against the Street Profits. So Deville makes the match for next week, and Jimmy is all for it, and he walks off. And there you go. We then get a segment with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in the middle of the ring doing a celebration for Roman Reigns and what he has done as the Universal Champion. I loved it. Every fucking thing. And by the way, Roman Reigns came out with his new music, not the old music. That was just for Paul Heyman, thank God. I'd hate to think they went back to the old music. If you're going to do that, you should have just stuck with it in the first place. But they use the original music he's starting to use at this point instead of the the Shield music bullshit. So Reigns stops on the stage and raises the title in the air as the pyro goes off. They head to the ring as Greg Hamilton does the introduction. Reigns enters the ring and raises the title some more while pyro goes off again. Then at this point they go to commercial break. They come back and they have Kevin Owens. I don't know why Kevin Owens appeared in the middle of the entrance and their promo. Why didn't they just go straight to the promo and start cutting the promo and then afterwards go to Kevin Owens? I think that's a little ridiculous to go to some other segment and then come back to the original segment that you went from, that you were starting to do, went to a commercial and then came back to something else and then went back to the original thing you started on before you went to commercial. That's fucking retarded. But anyway, Kevin Owens was backstage. He cuts his own promo about the main event and goes on about how he plans on living up to the prize fighter nickname that he started with in the beginning when he first came to WWE. Owens says when it's all said and done, he plans on being a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. And then we go back to the ring and Reigns has a mic in his hand. Cole leads us to the Progressive sponsor replay from WrestleMania Backlash, showing how Reigns retained his championship over Cesaro, which was magnificent. And then fans chant, piped in fans chant, Roman sucks. And a bunch of boos go out throughout the entire Thunderdome. Not legit boos yet. We don't have them on the road just yet. But don't worry, eventually they will, and there will be no sound effect whatsoever. They'll have to pipe in their own noise because people won't even care about the fucking show itself, outside of maybe Roman Reigns and what he's doing with whoever is challenging him for the championship. Reigns sees himself as a humble man and teaches his sons about humility. He doesn't like to brag on live TV, so he's going to take this chance to allow his special counsel to celebrate him. And fans boo louder, which is the piped-in noise. Heyman takes the mic and says this is a unique surprise as he has a moment here to honor our tribal chief. Heyman goes on praising Reigns for being undefeated and conquering some of the opponents since returning to the WWE, including The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, among others. He touts the stacked pin at the WrestleMania event with Edge and Daniel Bryan, and how Reigns sent Bryan into Bella retirement. Heyman goes on with the praise and says Reigns Reigns' wish is his command, then asks what else can he do for the tribal chief. Reigns orders Heyman to bring him his cousin. All of a sudden, we get Cesaro's music hitting up instead. Cesaro comes out to the stage in a suit wearing a sling on his arm, and Reigns says, "Cut the bum's music." It was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fucking fantastic. What he said about Cesaro saying, "Get this bum out of here, man. I beat this guy." And clearly, you know what? I don't care Roman Reigns is a heel. He is 100%. He's not a bum or anything, but he lost clean. He doesn't deserve a rematch. He doesn't deserve to face Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell. This is not deserving for a Hell in a Cell match. This has no major build. This has nothing going into it. There's only two things you can really use here, and one of them wouldn't even make any sense because one of them's already heel, and that's Seth Rollins. You could go about, bringing up their past history and all that, but I don't even know if that would bring any kind of interest towards a match like that in Hell in a Cell. I think that'd probably be a waste. The only other thing I can really think of, two other things I can think of. One, you have him face Jimmy Uso one-on-one for the Universal Championship, doing the same thing he did with Jey Uso last year when he first won the title. Or you can go ahead and just have Roman Reigns completely off the entire Hell in a Cell card, and we don't have to watch him do anything because it's a worthless fucking piece of shit pay-per-view that's not going to do anything for Roman Reigns at the end of the day. I honestly think that would probably be the best thing. Say, hey, look, I've dominated everybody. When you guys find me a challenger that I could face at a major pay-per-view, let me know and I'll come in and I'll fight you guys. I'll fight somebody. That's what I would do. The next step I would do is focus on trying to find the right challenger for him at Money in the Bank. The challenger would be Finn Balor. If Finn Balor is moved to SmackDown, that is. If you move Finn Balor to SmackDown, that is the best thing you can do, because right now, the only person that I see that is legitimate money that could do anything to hype up a good pay-per-view with him and has history behind it from back in 2016, plus Finn Balor won the Universal Championship. He was the first Universal Champion of all time at SummerSlam, beating one of the best wrestlers in the company, which is Seth Rollins, and going on to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam of this year and win the Money in the Bank briefcase in a great ladder match, which he is very well known to do. He's very good in ladder matches. You have him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then out of nowhere, instead of doing that lame-o bullshit way of cashing in when the champion has already had a match and got his ass kicked or had a grueling match with someone, have Finn Balor do what RVD did at One Night Stand. Challenge the champion straight on where it's advertised, booked, built, and then produced on the pay-per-view with everyone knowing it was going to happen right out of the gate. That's what I would do. Would I have Finn Balor win? No. I wouldn't have Finn Balor win because I don't think Finn Balor is needed to be the Universal Champion. Not to mention, they don't have any legit heels on SmackDown except for Roman Reigns. And playing hot potato with that title would not be a good idea because then it would kind of devalue the title. They need to build a lot of good face characters on SmackDown before heel characters. I apologize. They need to start building some heel characters on SmackDown before they give the title to any face character on SmackDown. Period. Now, if that means you take some of the guys from Raw and make them that are heels from Raw and bring them over to SmackDown and make them into legit badasses on the mid card, and then eventually move them into the main event scene, that would be fine. But to do anything more than that is fucking stupid. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think it's a smart idea. And it would definitely bring some prestige to that fucking Money in the Bank briefcase for the treatment it got from last year. Otis winning it and didn't do shit with it. Miz cashed in. Now he got eaten by fucking zombies. What the fuck? Bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. Anyway, Cesaro came out. He challenged him for a match at Hell in a Cell. Eventually, this led to Seth Rollins attacking him again. We come back from break. Seth Rollins is being interviewed. He said, I don't know what I was doing. I kind of blacked out. Kind of ripping off what Randy Orton did last year with Edge and all that kind of stuff that he did. He would attack his opponent and then fucking black out and pretend like he didn't know what he was doing. So he grabs Cesaro when he's being wheeled out on a stretcher, and he tells him, this is all your fault. Why did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. And he's having a massive whack job attack kind of situation going on in his head. I don't know. It fucking seems ridiculous making Seth Rollins come across like he's a mental case. But hey, he is anyway, so it doesn't matter. Dominic Mysterio faced Bobby Roode in a one-on-one matchup again. I don't know why they're having rematches of Dominic Mysterio, but Dominic Mysterio wins the match with a 619 and I believe... Hold on one sec. Yeah, he delivers a 619 and then a frog splash for the 1-2-3 and wins the match. And that was pretty much that. Nothing special here. I mean, was it good action? Yeah, I guess, but it really wasn't all that big of a deal. It wasn't even necessary. Jey Uso is walking backstage when Jimmy Uso approaches him to tell him about next week's match against the Street Profits. Jey isn't happy. His brother made a tag team match without telling him first. Jimmy says he's looking out for his brother after Roman Reigns said he doesn't need him. Jimmy points how capable Jey can be on his own, including his Andre the Giant Battle Royal win. They go back and forth, and Jey says he still needs to tell Reigns about the tag team match, and he walks off, and Jimmy looks disappointed. Back to the commercial. We see Jey Uso backstage talking to Reigns. Reigns is backstage with Paul Heyman, and when Jey Uso walks in, Jey tells him about the tag team match next week against Street Profits, and he says he had nothing to do with it. Reigns asks who we is and goes on about Jey being selfish. Reigns says this is we, and everything we do represent the family, as if they're mafiosos or some kind of shit. Kind of weird. Reigns hugs Jey and says something in his ear. Reigns pulls away and has an angry look on his face. He walks away to the end to end the segment, and that's it. Street Profits are backstage now, and they mock the Usos with Montez Ford doing an impersonation of Jimmy Uso last week. And Angelo Dawkins says it won't be pretty what they do to the Usos next week. They go on getting hyped up for next week's tag team match and declare that they want the smoke. And that's it. Sami Zayn is backstage with Calla Braxton now. He's still screaming about propaganda going on in the WWE. You got that right. There is propaganda. It's all about serving Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. We do it for Roman. And he's saying the documentary is coming out. He's like the WWE. They're going to go ahead and deliver us good television and really intrigue our interest, and yet they never do it. Each and every week. I can't fucking speak. Anyway, you get my drift. So at this point, He says he feels distracted by Kayla Braxton with the comments he's saying, and he thinks it's all part of the conspiracy theory that's going on with him. They need to stop it, blah, blah, blah. So the Fatal 4-Way is the main event. The Intercontinental title match took place. You guys know the rest. As Eric mentioned, Aleister Black gets involved in the end of the match. This was a great matchup, though. Several different spots where KO almost lands on his neck several different times. It was pretty bad. But yeah, overall, this was a really good main event, I have to say. But bottom line, guys, I mean, it wasn't a terrible show, but it wasn't one of the best shows I could think of a SmackDown episode. Was it building towards anything? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you missed it, you're not really missing much. But at the same time, if you wanted to check it out, I wouldn't say you're wasting your time or anything. But it's not you have to absolutely go see it. It's just something if you want to, spend an hour and 30 minutes chilling, watching some wrestling, catch up on a few things, watch some of your favorite stars on that show, which I think SmackDown is still a far superior show than fucking Monday Night Raw. I can't sit through a 3-hour show. 2 hours of SmackDown's fine, but 3 hours of Raw, no fucking way. Ain't ever gonna happen. I don't even think if they put it down to 2 hours, I'd be able to sit through it because it's so fucking terrible. But anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great night, guys. Bye.